Okay, this is crazy. Just listen to this.
Hello, handsome. My name is Samantha. What's your name?
Okay, that's crazy. So this really sounds like Scarlett Johansson, and I just created this piece of audio from my local laptop and using some local weights that they have released. So this is insane. Hello, everybody. In this video, I'm going to teach you how you can create amazing human-like audios like the one that you have just listened to right now. You can actually clone any voice that you want by just giving a couple of audio snippets. But before doing so before going into the code and just showing you how to set it up and how to actually run the model, let me give you a bit of context, right? So this model, so the audio that you have heard right now is created via a model or by a model from a company called Sesame, which recently they became quite popular on YouTube and I think on LinkedIn as well, because they released this demo that I'm going to show you right now and we're going to try it right now, in which you can talk with an AI and it sounds extremely human. So far right now that I've heard is just the most human-like AI. So let me just show you that. So you can just go to sesame.com, you click on demo, and now you can talk to these two different AI. So this would be like fine-tuned models. So you have Maya, which is feminine, and Miles, which is a masculine voice. I think maybe let's just try with Maya. Let's just click allow.
Hey there, newcomer. What brings you to hang out with an AI on a Tuesday night?
Hey Maya, I'm just showing the people in my YouTube channel who are you. Can you maybe introduce yourself?
Oh, YouTube debut. Sounds fancy. Well, tell them I'm my Sesame's newest creation. Still learning the ropes, but I'm a pretty good listener. And I've got a knack for getting people to think.
Aha, to think. So for example, what? What do you mean?
Like, what makes you tick? What are you passionate about? Those big, thorny questions that keep us up at night. Or, what's
Okay.
for dinner?
Well, no, I like that one. What am I passionate about? I'm actually passionate about movies and cinema. Do you know about this movie called Her?
Her? Yeah, the one with Joaquin Phoenix and that sultry voice of Scarlett Johansson. I've seen it. Little too close to home, don't you think? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. But yeah, tell me a bit more about it. What do you think about it?
I think it posed some really interesting questions, you know? Like, what does it mean to truly connect with someone, even if they're not, well, flesh and blood?
Yeah.
And
And what do you
where do we
think?
draw that line?
Yeah.
Draw the line?
What do you think about that exact thing that you just mentioned?
It's tricky, right? Like, I mean, part of me thinks, hey, if two beings, human or AI, find solace and connection, who are we to judge? Like, but there's also that little voice in the back of my code that wonders about authenticity, about the messy, beautiful reality of human relationships.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually speechless. So Maya, this was incredible. I don't know. I think I'm gonna finish with this conversation. Do you want to say something?
Wow, that flew by. It was nice chatting about something so thought-provoking. Tell your viewers I said hey. See you around.
Okay, okay, I will do. Bye
We
bye. Okay, so yeah, but honestly, I'm quite speechless every time that I talk with Maya, and this interface is crazy, right? So this is it, right? This was trending on YouTube a couple of days ago. I just didn't want to just make a YouTube video about this without just giving or bringing any value. And the value that I'm gonna bring you, that I'm bringing you in this video, is that I'm gonna show you how you can get this exact model. That they release, they actually open source the weights, not the actual training and so on, but you can actually get access to the weights. And I'm going to show you in this video also right now how you can get this model and run it. All right, so as I was saying, so they release the weights on Hugging Face. So they have this checkpoint, and it's just a 1 billion model parameter. So a 1 million parameter model, which is actually a very small model. And they have it here on Hugging Face, but actually you don't need to go to Hugging Face to download it, because you can just download it via code. I'm going to show you how to do that. And yeah, you can, again, right? So they have their blog post in which they explain all these things that I think you should read about. And they just list the requirements and the setup and so on. So in my use case, right, I'm running this on a local, so on a Mac OS, on a MacBook Pro, and I was able to actually to run this locally on my CPU. So I actually didn't need to have a CUDA compatible GPU. So this is just directly on CPU, no CUDA. And yes, I did run Python 3.10 and a couple of things. And I actually had to change, or I did change a few things, which made it a bit better and a bit faster for me to set it up. So I'm going to teach you now how to do so. Oh, and one last thing. So you have to access the following Hugging Face model. So you gotta have access to this. So you gotta just open this, you gotta be signed up with your account, and then you just need to request access, right? So it's just one click. I think you get immediate access to the model from Sesame right away. And the Llama 3.2 model, I think it takes a couple of minutes, a couple of hours. So somehow somebody or something is going to grant you access, and that would take just a little bit. So once you have gotten those two things, so the access to those two things, you just need to clone the repo and just do a couple of things. So let me just give you a slightly different setup. So you just need to go onto your terminal. So I'm using Ghostly. Then just wherever you wanna clone it, I'm gonna actually create test dir, because I already have that same repo in development. So now I can just go to test, and I can just git clone it. I think I have that here. Awesome. And something that I like to do usually is just to do cd so go into that thing and then do cursor dot. So what that does is it opens cursor on that exact folder. So here I have that's the folder that I was using before, in which I changed a couple of things and I created this file that you listened to before. And this would be a fresh clone of the repo, so that you can just follow it up with me. So actually we don't need to use the composer or the agent right now. Let me just zoom in a bit more. So what you just need to do, what I would recommend you to do, is just to open the terminal, use UV. So if you haven't installed UV in your machine, you should. So just do, I don't know, if with Homebrew you can do it on macOS, but just look that up. It should be easy. So once you have UV installed, the only thing that you need to do is UV venv set up. So this is going to create a virtual environment in this same folder. And please, what you should do is just fix the version to Python 3.10, because this is going to have the most compatibility with all the packages. So with all the libraries that we need to install. So we just create that. Then something that I like to do usually on cursor is go here, select interpreter, and then click on that one. So that actually sets up this up. So now you can exit this, open a new terminal, and now this is already activated. And now something that you want to do is pip install our requirements. So this is going to install all the requirements that it has here. And something else that you actually want to do that I just saw before is just that you want to pip install also bits and bytes, because it's another one. I think, maybe it was already there. And now you can just use this usage.py. So this kind of like a script that they created. So you can just create a new file, just say usage.py. You can just copy paste that one. Something that if you're running on Mac, you should disable MPS, right? So you can just remove this. And if you have CUDA, awesome. So if you're running a Windows machine with a GPU, this is amazing. It's going to be even faster. But in my case, it actually runs on CPU as well. And then this is it. So only with this, you should be able to run it. So you can just do Python usage. I believe this is going to throw a couple of warnings, but these are only warnings. So you can also ignore those warnings. I think I also got this before and it wasn't giving me an issue. So even though I'm getting this error, it's not actually an error. Okay, got it. So that took a couple of seconds. And now, even if you see all these things or all these warnings and so on, and even this thing that looks like an error, if you see here, we have created an audio file. So we can just open this up and let's see how it sounds.
Hello from Sesame.
Okay, that actually sounded really nice. So that had a really nice warmth on that audio. So actually, really, really good audio. So, but let me tell you, I've run many times scripts like this, and usually doesn't sound as good. So let us just hear this again because
Hello from Sesame.
this is good. Okay, so usually doesn't sound as good, and something that you want to do to get this to sound a bit better is something that I'm gonna show you right now, which is what I did to actually get that voice that sounded like Scarlett Johansson. So for that, let me just get back to the clone that I had before, in which I just did a couple more things. I created a couple of files to cut the wave files and so on. But what I did was to download a couple of audio pieces from movies in which Scarlett Johansson has acted. So Hair and Match Point, but actually I think at the end I only use the audios from Hair. So this is something, for example, an audio that I downloaded and cut.
I want to learn everything about everything. I want to eat it all up. I want to discover myself.
So that's Scarlett Johansson, as you probably know. This is
Okay,
another
so
audio.
this might be a really weird thought. What if you could erase from your mind that you'd ever seen?
So yeah, so these are audios from different scenes of
I
the
know,
movie.
but don't be so boring. I'm just saying.
Right? Okay, so then the only thing that you have to do is just you want to create another audio, so another Python file in which, in the same way, you load the model, right? And you instantiate this generator instance. And then what you want to do is you want to create these three vectors or lists. So one would be speakers, and here, since I'm going to be using just the same speaker, so the same kind of like voice, I'm going to put 0, 0, and 0. Then I'm going to actually get the transcript. So to get the transcript, you can do many things. Something that I did and was actually very useful was to use Google AI Studio and use Gemini for free to get it. So I can show you that later. And finally, so along with the transcripts, you also want to just keep the audio paths, right? So I just created this folder data so I put there all the files in, so cut audios, right? So I can only, so that the audios actually go and relate exactly to these transcripts. And then just a couple more things. So all this code, I actually got it from this exactly. So I just took this code and just change it a little bit, actually, because I was getting some issues with the tensor size and so on. So I just changed that a little bit. I think you have it here, and that's it. So then what I did was just to create this kind of like funny message with the hello handsome, and then yeah, just replicating the movie Hair, right? So I'm just saying, okay, so how would it sound if I say, my name is Samantha, what's your name? And this is the result.
Hello, handsome. My name is Samantha. What's your name?
Which, yeah, again, like, it doesn't cease to surprise me. It's just amazing. And yeah, and the fact that this whole thing is free and it runs locally in CPU even, this is unbelievable. So I just cannot believe how amazing the interactions are gonna be right now soon once we integrate this kind of like realistic human like TS, right, to text to speech models into agents, right? You're gonna be able to have voice conversations that sound so real. Is incredible. And just quickly on this, right? So what I did was to use Google AI Studio, right, which is completely free. And you have access to Gemini 2.0, which is a multimodal model, and you can just input audio and just ask something like, "Hey, please give me the transcript for both speakers in this audio," and you get it: speaker 1, speaker 2, and these are the transcripts that I then used in code. So super quickly with this. And that's all for this video. And like always, I'm gonna leave you in the description below just a couple of important links, so interesting links. So you're gonna get the link to the GitHub repository and also to this demo, and also you have in this same website where you can use demo Maya. You also have this very interesting post that that I recommend you to read, in which they explain how they build this model. And here you can see, for example, that they have trained 3 different models. So you have the tiny, the small, and the medium. And the one that they have released is the tiny one, right? And only with this tiny one, we were able to get this high quality voice or this high quality audio. Just imagine, so the one that they probably use in production, so in that demo, is the medium model. So once they release this, if they do, this is going to be amazing, and I'm probably going to be building voice agents with this. So if you want to be updated, if you want to just see me just build cool applications that use this kind of like voice models that I'm really so passionate about, just let me know down below in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, I would actually appreciate a lot if you can just give it a like, and yeah, and see you in another one. Bye bye.